This is the beguiling actress and lovely star of Bewitched, Elizabeth Montgomery.
30 years after she died, Elizabeth Montgomery is still the talk of the town, and recently more shocking details about the truth behind her sudden death resurfaced, and you will not believe what you are about to hear. So sit back and join us as we uncover the mystery of Elizabeth Montgomery's demise. Actress Elizabeth Montgomery brought magic to the small screen as witchy Samantha Stephens in the famous TV sitcom Bewitched. This is why it's no surprise that she captured the hearts of viewers through her quirky and fun characters. She began her career in the 1950s, and back then she was known as the daughter of actor Robert Montgomery. However, she proved that she could make a name for herself and later won a Theatre World Award for her Broadway debut in the 1956 show Late Love. She rose to prominence in the 1960s as Samantha Stephens on the ABC sitcom Bewitched, and since then she has become one of the most beloved actresses of her time. Years after the show premiered, Elizabeth captivated audiences with its quirky tales and fascinating characters. Montgomery's portrayal of Samantha Stephens, a delightful witch negotiating the hurdles of living a normal life, enchanted viewers all over the world. Samantha became a well-known household name thanks to her charismatic appearance and hilarious timing. Aside from this, the cultural significance of Bewitched cannot be emphasized. The show defied cultural stereotypes by depicting a strong and independent female lead who seamlessly combined her magical talents with her desire for a successful household life. Samantha Stephens rose to prominence as an inspirational figure for women, demonstrating the possibility of both enchantment and empowerment in a single character, and of course, Elizabeth became one of the most prominent female figures during that era. On top of her amazing acting skills, Elizabeth also has another charm. Specifically, she is also a fashion icon. She was known for her particular sense of style, which seamlessly combined refinement with unmistakable beauty. Her dress selections demonstrated her great sense of fashion, and the world took note of it. Soon after, Montgomery's clothing became a source of inspiration for fashion fans, ranging from exquisite gowns to smart casual attire. However, her fashion sense was not confined to herself after she was established as a trendsetter in her own right. The heart necklace, her distinctive item, became synonymous with her grace and elegance. The dainty pendant added a modest yet appealing touch to her neck, complementing her innate beauty and reflecting her own sympathetic nature. Soon after, everyone wanted to wear one and imitate her style. You can even say she started a trend during an era when things like that were not yet common and were never introduced. And to say she was ahead of her time is an understatement. Because of this, she successfully conquered the industry and made a name for herself, and she was rewarded accordingly. Throughout her career, she received 5 Primetime Emmy Award nominations and 4 Golden Globe Award nominations for her work on the series. As expected, Montgomery's career continued after Bewitched ended in 1972, with appearances in shows like A Case of Rape as Ellen Harrod and The Legend of Lizzie Borden as the titular character. And because of her superb portrayal of these roles, she received another Emmy nod for both roles. Father complex. To say that her future in the industry was bright is an understatement. However, behind the glitz and glamour, Elizabeth admitted that not everything was going smoothly. Elizabeth Montgomery may have delighted fans in the 1960s and 1970s as the charming witch Samantha Stephens on Bewitched, but her real life was far from magical. In fact, Elizabeth had a tough upbringing which affected her mentally and emotionally. Specifically, she revealed in her tell-all book that she suffered from a father complex, which would later explain why she often fell in love with older men and sought out troubled lovers who abused her physically and mentally. Herbie Pilato, author of the new biography Twitch Upon a Star, explained what this meant and how this complex affected her greatly. She enchanted every man she ever met, but she seemed drawn to troubled men, not nice guys. She was always looking for the bad boy, which may have been part of her rebellion against her father. Explaining further, the author added, though she had her Bentleys and Beverly Hills mansion and made millions from Bewitched, ultimately she had a dark side to her. However, this was only the tip of the iceberg, because her complicated relationship with her father shaped how she interacted with men for the majority of her life. She was conflicted, he said, trying to please her father but also rebelling against him. As a result of her interesting choice of men, Elizabeth married 4 times and had affairs with many of Hollywood's most famous stars. For instance, she was linked to Dean Martin and Elvis Presley, among others. While most of you might think that things won't get even worse, you are completely wrong. 1 year after her divorce with director-producer William Asher, her life is set to take a wrong turn. This was after she married Gig Young, a violent alcoholic actor twice her age, and Elizabeth's nightmare started. She was just sticking it to her father by marrying Gig until she finally realized she couldn't take the abuse any longer, Pilato explains. Finding love. Despite having a difficult personal life, Elizabeth was able to achieve professional success and her life started to get better. As her fame grew, she began to put her talents to good use, working on campaigns for AIDS awareness as well as for Amnesty International. Everything was going well, and for the first time in a year, she could finally breathe a little after shaking the shackles of her father. And while love was out of the picture, she was not able to run away from it after it found her. According to Closer Weekly, she eventually met the person who would truly cherish her, and just like that, Elizabeth's heart had been mended by the time she met her fourth husband, Robert Foxworth. It was even reported that the two were a perfect match. Robert's children adored her, Elizabeth's children adored her, and even her difficult father finally came around toward the end, says Pilato. There was no hate, just love. Indeed, there was only love, and the couple had a happy marriage. They spent the best years together until her untimely death from colon cancer in 1995. Meanwhile, her children from her previous marriage are busy creating their own paths. In fact, her daughter and two sons with William Asher are focused on their individual lives. Bill Asher, now 50, worked briefly on TV crews before focusing on repairing and producing guitars and other string instruments in the 1980s. He is the sole proprietor of his company. Rebecca Asher, 46, has worked as a script supervisor on a number of TV projects over the years. Robert Asher, 49, has a long career as a TV producer, most recently as executive producer of Kitchen Crashers and Room Crashers. While it's undeniable that Elizabeth would be the proudest mother to see her children thrive, she was not able to witness any of their success because of her untimely passing on May 18, 1995. Unexpected death. But her death carried more mystery than we imagined, and after 30 long years, the truth is finally being exposed. The actress is believed to have suffered 6 weeks of symptoms when test findings revealed that her cancer had progressed to stage 4. Surprisingly, colon cancer was recognized as one of the easiest to prevent and treat. However, the actress was not able to get timely treatment, which made her situation worse. That's why renowned medical examiner and forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Hunter believes there's a lot more to the actress's story that needs to be shared, such as what difficulties she may have had that contributed to her unfathomably rapid death. RadarOnline.com has obtained an exclusive first look at the Reels documentary Autopsy, The Last Hours of Elizabeth Montgomery, where Hunter announced his conclusions after reviewing the late star's medical records and combining that material with first-hand evidence. During his inquiry, he discovered a series of unfortunate circumstances that he believes caused the otherwise seemingly healthy actress to succumb to the disease so swiftly. Buckle up, because you will not believe what he was able to dig up. So far, I've discovered that in the months before her death, Elizabeth Montgomery had been feeling weak and tired, and she had persistent abdominal pain, all of which are typical symptoms of colon cancer, Hunter explained, before ominously adding, but are easily mistaken for something else. This made viewers believe that the actress didn't succumb to her cancer, but instead had to deal with a much more serious medical condition that was either accidentally overlooked or deliberately ignored. There was no other evidence that could make sense of these findings, but people are still looking for answers. Sadly, we will never know the answer, and until someone decides to speak up and tell the truth, Elizabeth Montgomery will be remembered for her craft, talent, and fruitful career. That's it for today's video. Make sure to give this a like and subscribe for more.
I'll change if you change, but if you're gonna shimmer in gold, I'm gonna shimmer in silver.